In this video I'll be making the part of the hinge that fits over the end of the bending leaf. In the left part of the photo you can see the end of the leaf with the hinge attached. In the right side of the photo you can see the part of the hinge that it fits over the end of the base plate that we made earlier. So first we'll rough out the larger parts, the raw stock of this raw stock to be removed, shown with the Sharpie colored. After roughing, this is what it will look like. I'll be using my favorite 2-inch indexable facing mill. After touching off and zeroing the z-axis on the DRO, I'll take 50 thousandths cuts to a total depth just short of 600 thousandths. We'll speed it up just so you don't have to keep watching the same thing over and over again for another 5 or 10 minutes. Next we'll take 050 cuts to a total depth of about 1/4 of an inch. This is our second cut. For our third cut, we'll take, again, 50 thousandths cuts to a total depth of about 450 thousandths. Okay, continuing on, we've got some layout marks on our piece now, and it's rough to size. So the next set of operations, I'm going to drill these 3 holes, all 3/4 inch, although these are elongated 25 thousandths off of center on each side of it. and I'm going to cut this height right here to 660. This is a finished surface and it's sitting upright in the mill now, so I'll come in an appropriate amount. It's going to be from this end to 1.385 off of this center over. I'll come straight across right in here, take it down, drill the 3 holes, flip it over. No, I won't cut the slot yet because I haven't got the bending leaf taken down to size. I got to clean the mill scale off and see what that leaves. If it leaves me 280, not 280, 475 in between them, then that's what I'll make of it. Comes out to be 465, as long as the top edge of the slot here is in line with the center of the hole. It doesn't really matter if the bottom of the slot is off plus or minus some. So that said, we're going to we'll spot the holes here. Go ahead and drill them. I'll switch to a mill and we'll take off whatever depth there is we need to get to the 660 thousandths. So first thing we're going to do is touch off on these 2 sides and get established as an origin right here on the point right here, the corner. Turn on spool. So I think we'll use that instead. Okay, press this way. Okay. Alright, you need to move in 100 thousandths on each one and on each axis, and then re-zero it. So. Okay, so now we're going to go under there. There. And re-zero both axes. Okay, I think we're ready to start marking holes. Find my center drill where that's located. Center drill out. Apparently not. off this edge 0.456. Come off of this edge. Quarter of an inch. And we'll touch a hole here. Okay, we're going to move over to 125. Or 1250, I mean.
Okay. Those holes are slightly elongated so you can make adjustments after you install the hinge. Okay, the last hole is a 1/4 inch hole. It's at 0.911. Okay, and the other distance is 2.75. I did that calculation wrong. That's why I mark them out and then measure them again. So 693. Okay. That's pretty good. Okay, that's all 3 of the holes. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this surface right here down to final thickness. Take 73 thousandths off. From the end of this to the hole we just drilled, 275 minus the radius of a 1.385 will take us to this edge, and that's where I'm going to get this dimension from this edge to here. 2058. Minus half of 3/4, so 75. minus 0.375. So I'm going to be reading 1683 on my URO here. Okay, really, what's happened here is I didn't rough this back far enough, so I didn't want to go too far. This is fine here because most of what's going to come off is going to come off when I cut this around 1875 from here up to a little bit above this plane here. I'm going to put that in the rotary table, and I'll round that all the way around. I'll raise it up as I come around this part and bring it to depth. So that should allow me to clean off whatever's left over in this piece here. So anyway, I'm just going to come right up to the edge of that and then drop down my 73 thousandths. That's what we'll do. Pretty sure I remember that was 73 that needed to come off, but I'm going to just double check that since. Yeah, great. $33. 733 minus 660. $73. Okay. Okay, well, the day we're starting the bending leaf, this is the piece that's got the hinge on the ends that keys into the hinge half on the base plate, and this is the part that actually will have a handle on it, will fold up and actually fold the metal. Anyway, the hinge pieces that go on the end of this straddle the thickness of it, and of course in the write-up, in the magazine article I'm reading, they call out for a specific thickness, 0.475 inches. It's not critical. The main thing is that the groove that slots over this, the top of the groove has to be in line with the top edge of this, or is in line, and it has to be in line with the center of the hole in the hinge, or the pivot in the hinge, so that the top of this, the top of the base plate all line up nicely with each other with just very little gap, and when they fold right around this edge, or this edge. This actually is going to be the edge the handle goes on. This end is going to be the edge that has the that actually butts up against the base plate. Anyway, first things first, I've come through and run my 3-inch end mill across it and cleaned it up, and it came out pretty good. It's got a few inconsistent marks, tooling marks on it. That's kind of a function of having to mill a piece, take everything apart, move it down, reset everything up, mill another piece, take it down, and so I had to move it twice, and it has to be clamped pretty good when you're doing this to keep vibration from causing all kinds of problems, and there's just no really good way to do it. The nice thing would be have like a 52-inch long mill table, and then it would be perfect. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I left a little lip there with the edge of it. The mill is just slightly smaller than the width of the steel, and it doesn't matter. So I'm going to take an end mill and go along the edge of this and clean it up. It needs to be squared up anyway. So I'm going to dial in the back side of it, which has still got the mill scale on it, but that'll get me very, very close. And then we'll come across here and make probably 2 passes. I can get it with the end mill. So anyway, that's the plan. So we'll start out to 0 there, and with any kind of luck, we won't hit the camera with anything. Okay, let's make sure this one's nice and snug. Not crazy tight, but so it pivots around this end. Okay, we're 0 there. Let's go back the other way. Let's 0 it again. Go back down the other end. Okay, we're getting pretty close here. I think we're going to be real close on that. Give this clamp a little snug too. Run back down and kind of make sure we're... Okay, we're 0 on here, we're 0 down here. I'm going to just assume, just from the way the needle's moving and everything, that that's going to be close enough. It really doesn't, this doesn't need to be straight. Or I'm going to clean up the mill scale off of it, but other than that, it's all that happens is a handle that clamps on here, depending on how I put the handle on, but there'll be some sort of handle attached to this end, and this will just be exposed. It doesn't do anything critical. So I think that's we're close to zero on both ends. Let's call it good, and we're going to clamp it down real good and then mill it. Okay, I think we're secured. Touch off with our end mill and take enough of a bite probably just to chew that all off in one piece. Make sure we're deep enough. Come just a little more. Yeah, that'll do it. My only reason for putting the mill on the back side of it is it just chip control. It keeps all the garbage out there. Less sweeping to do. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take it in 2 passes, so that's no big deal. I just lube her up good. I'm kind of wondering if I want to throw the cool mister on. I think I will. Let's see, I could come up from the... Wish I had just a little bit longer hose on this thing. It's a little far back. Let's see how that works. Yeah, we're barely hitting the bottom of the can, but we're hitting it, so...
In this segment we're going to clean the mill scale off of the flat parts of the bending lathe. Right now I'm getting the depth figured out, how much I'm going to have to take in order to clean up all the mill scale. And what we're going to see is the techniques I use to get something that's way too long for the milled by kind of leapfrogging things. So as I move forward and I get where I want, up to a clamp, then I'll put a clamp in behind me, take that clamp out, and move ahead from there. You'll notice as I get to the end of a section and I'm ready to move another clamp that first I throw my table feed into reverse, and then I shut the mill down. And that kind of tries to avoid the little, I guess you'd call it a dig mark, from the mill just sitting there in one place and cutting away. At least it kind of smooths that out a little bit. And right here we're going to do the actual slide, kind of show the process there. We've got all the clamps off, slide everything down a little bit, then we reclamp it kind of loosely there for a second, and what I've been doing is lining the back of the plate up with the back of the mill table. It doesn't have to be dead on, it just needs to be close enough that the cutter can handle it. I get back down to my 0 point on the Z-axis and continue on. And this should be the last cut. Now I'll give you an idea of what it looks like after it's all done. Kind of tip it up there so you can see it. So I would try to think of a good way to center the part in four-jaw on the pilot hole that I drilled. And I tried putting a piece of drill steel or something in the hole, and it was just loose enough that it wiggled a little. And when I take this rectangular piece there and turn it, it's going to be fitted to the inside of the bushing on the front hinge, which I want it to be right accurate, and I really need to dial it in. I couldn't figure a way to get a dial indicator on it for a while, and then I come up with the idea of putting a dead center in there between my tailstock and the pilot hole, and then just gauging off of the side of the dead center. Now I sped this thing up to 6x, so it looks like I know what I'm doing. I'm definitely not as practiced at four-jaw, setting up a four-jaw, part in a four-jaw as Adam Booth or Keith Finner or just about anybody that's done it for a living. Zero, half, half, zero, zero. Think we're good. Snugged in there pretty good. That's tight, tight, tight. Tight. We're within 1,000th. Okay, we're going to turn this to 3/4 of an inch within 125 of this, right there. Can't get outside of that. Set my travel dial up too. So we're going to go here. We're just going to touch this. Oh, a little more than touching it. Okay, we're going to zero our dial.
Tile's coming loose off of the mag back. Okay, we're going to back off 125. There's 100. 25. Lock that for a second. Got to re-zero our dial here. Okay, that's... Yeah. Okay, now I got my eighth of an inch here. Mic it one last time. We're half under. So we're not going to polish it at all. We're just going to break the corners and quit. Thanks for visiting the Old Iron Lever channel and the series on the building of the bending brake. There are a number of episodes in this series, so please check back regularly. I'll try to post them about twice a week until they're all up, assuming I can keep up with the editing. So if you like it, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to make a comment that you think I'd like to hear, well, please add that. And if you haven't subscribed, that's always welcome too. Please subscribe. Until the next episode, happy trails.